Class.
Class. You might be wondering why we're saying class. We'll get to that in a second. I'm Miguel.
And I'm Rowan.
And today we're going to be showing you how to make a bricks and balls type of game. And you might be wondering why we're saying class. So from now on, whenever we do a tutorial and we're like teaching, we're going to say class, like we're teaching a class.
Alright, so let's go ahead and get started on the tutorial. Let's create a new project, hitting the create button at the top of the screen. Before the video starts, I would like to note, you may have noticed that we don't have all of the sprites during the tutorial. That's because we decided that instead of telling you how to draw every sprite, we would just give you the costumes themselves so that it would be a lot easier on your part. So, enjoy the video.
Now, go into the code. In the code, drag out a when green flag clicked block. Then, drag out a forever loop. Forever loop, drag a go to X and Y. Now, drag out a point towards mouse pointer. Put both of them in the forever loop. In the Y position slot, put a negative 140. In the X position slot, go to operators, a minus, and a divided by. Also drag out a round block. And drag 2 X position booleans and 1 direction boolean. Then go to sensing and drag out a mouse X. Now we're ready to do it.
So, now we're going to make this paddle go to our mouse. And we're going to make it, how do I want to say it? We're going to make it move to our mouse very smoothly. And only on the X position, not the Y position. So this paddle will be moving from side to side, and it won't be exactly snapping to our mouse pointer. I'll show you what I mean right now. First, grab this plus. Inside the plus, you're going to put this divided by in the second input. Then, in the middle input, put this subtraction. In the first input, now put in X position. Then, in the third input, drag another X position. In the middle, you're going to put mouse X and divide it by some sort of prime number. So we're just going to say 5. Now that we have it here, we're going to drag this into the X input. Let's test it out. Now you can see the paddle is going to our mouse only on the X position, and it is smoothly facing and going towards the X position of our mouse. Pretty cool, huh? Now we need to make another variable. No, not another. Now we need to make a variable. Name it direction. Make sure not to make it for this sprite only, as we need to use this input. We need to use this variable in other sprites. Hit OK. Now drag out a set direction to direction, round direction. Then put this in the input. Now the direction variable is showing the direction of the paddle.
Now, can you have a bricks and balls game without the ball? I'm sure you can. So, let's go to the ball sprite. In the code, drag out a when green flag clicked block. Drag out a point towards paddle.
Inside the forever loop, we're going to drag out, go to 0, 0. Oh wait, we're going above the green, under the green flag clicked, we're going to say go to 0, 0. Then in the forever loop, we're going to say forever, move 10 steps. This will make the ball go in the direction it's facing.
Now, under the move 10 steps, add an if on edge bounce. Note, this is not an if statement. This is a regular block that you can find in the motions category. Now, Under that, put a real if statement. And we're going to need 4 of those for now. So drag out 4 while you can. Or duplicate them by right-clicking. Now, inside of all of them, drag a touching, and one of them should be a touching color, which you can find in sensing. The touching color is for the bricks, so just leave that there for now. But in the first input, do an if touching right border. Make it point towards the paddle. Now for the second one, do a left border. Make it point towards the paddle. The third one, do a touching paddle. And now, our paddle direction will come really in handy. You have to put a point in direction, paddle direction, inside of the paddle. Now, we can test it out. Now, as you can see, if we try bouncing the ball from side to side, it's bouncing off the edge, and it will hit the walls and bounce off the walls, if it will ever do that. And it just did, I think. Yeah. Very cool. But in a bricks and balls game, you should be able to die and not just bounce on the ground. Not like that. So, we're going to fix that.
Go into the code and grab a when green flag clicked, then a go to 0, 0. As you can see, now it's at the bottom of the screen. Back in the ball sprite, we're going to make another if statement. And we're going to say if touching death barrier.
As you can see, once it hits the ground, let it hit the ground, Rowan. It goes back to 0, 0, and it resets. Now, what's a bricks and balls game without the bricks to break for your stupid little minds? Cut that out, Rowan, cut that out. Now, back in the code, drag a when green flag clicked, hide. And now we're going to make our custom block. This custom block is going to be so the bricks can place themselves in nice even rows. We're going to name this block setup.
Okay.
Blood really said start. We're going to make sure that it's run without screen refresh. This is crucial. Unless you like watching bricks getting set up, I don't. Although, it could be fun.
Now click OK.
Under the hide, drag the newly found start.
Setup. Okay.
Now, what you want to do is where it says define setup, you have to go on Google and search up the definition of setup.
So funny.
Under the here, I'm just gonna rename the block so that I don't mess up.
Blood, how is it that hard?
I'm sorry. Anyway, so under the setup, drag a go-to block. Make it go to 140, 170. That's what we put it as. But what you guys want to do is drag the brick sprite into
my days. Wait, say that again.
Now, okay, now what you want to, okay, we put 140, 170. But what you guys want to do is drag the brick sprite into the corner of your screen.
Coordinates are 124 to 170. So let's make it go to 125 by 170. You're not going to be able to see it when you hit the green flag, but it's because the sprite is hiding. So you can just click this eye icon. And as you can see, it's at the right position. Under the go-to, drag a create a clone of myself. Now drag a repeat blank block and drag a repeat until block with the boolean in it. Put the repeat until inside of the repeat 10. Now change it to repeat 9. This is because Scratch has a clone limit.
And it only allows 300 clones. On Turbo Warp, it allows more. But we're not using Turbo Warp. We're not a Turbo Warp abilities channel. We're Scratch abilities. Drag a less than, drag an exposition block,
Like
an
this?
input.
Yeah.
Yeah, the input.
Okay.
Input, put negative 140. Drag a change X by, and drag a created clone of myself. In the change X by, make it say negative 13.
Make sure that the blocks are in this order, or else it won't work.
Now, if we click the green flag, it will show the setup.
Obviously.
It's not showing.
Yeah. So we're
Drag
going
out
to
a
drag
when I
out a
start
when
the-
I start as a clone. Then in looks, we're going to grab a show. Now, when we click the green flag, we can see that it is working. But some blocks overlap the border. We're going to show you how to fix that in a second. You can also get rid of this direction variable right here by unchecking this check mark. Under the when I start as a clone, you're going to drag out an if statement. And we're going to say if touching color, not if touching color. We're going to say if touching, and then we're going to say right border. We're going to say left border. Then inside of there, we're going to say delete this clone. Now when we click the green flag, you can see that there's no more overlapping the border. But there's still a difference between this length of the gap here and the gap here. So in order to fix that, what we can do is make the border, we can make the left border a little bit closer. Just like that. And now you can see that the borders are the same. You can see that the gaps are pretty much the same. Now, let's make more blocks.
Under the repeat until, drag out a go-to block. In the X, put a 140. And in the Y, put a Y position input minus 13. This is so we can make columns of blocks.
Actually, the word you're looking for is row and not columns.
So, column would be going up and down, row would be going side to side.
Alright, well.
Under the go-to, put a create a clone of myself block. Under the repeat 9, put a repeat until block.
Alright guys, so don't be like us. We actually messed up the numbers. So, we have to put, why is it, okay, whatever. Alright, so you have to put the same numbers that you have, and but for us it's 125, so we're going to put that here. So now if we click the green flag, you can see that we have all these rows made, but there's this one extra block. So we're going to we're going to duplicate everything inside of the repeat 9 and put that under here. Then we're going to delete this last created clone of myself under it. And if we click start, now we can see everything looks perfect. Now let's make it so the wall can actually destroy the bricks. So remember this if statement from earlier. We're going to change this touching color to this gray right here. And you just click this eyedrop tool to get the exact same color. Alright, now what? What's the code end there?
So, if touching that color, then turn 45 degrees.
Make sure that the turn is the clockwise turning, not the counterclockwise turning.
Now, to actually break the bricks, go back into the brick sprite. And do in the when I start as a clone, drag out a forever loop and an if statement. We want it so that if it's touching the color black,
Because it hates. Never mind.
then if it's touching the color black, then die. And do the same trick for the black color. Now, inside of the if statement, drag a delete this clone. Now it should work.
Let's test it out. Bro. As you can see,
And it works.
the ball breaks the bricks whenever it hits them.
This is very cool. We now have our own bricks and balls game.
But
Not done quite yet though. We still have to make death, which is inevitable.
so
Unless
let's
you're
make a
just
live
that
system.
good.
So let's create a new sprite. Call it Lives. We're going to have 3 costumes. First, let's type some text saying Lives. Make sure you make the color white. It may be a little hard to see here, but that's okay. Then, we're going to make 3 circles. Make a circle while holding shift, copy it, and paste it 2 times. Then, using that trick we said earlier, we're going to drag 1 circle to the center, then while holding shift, drag it to the side. Then, do the same thing with the left circle and the right circle, and make sure to have 1 in the middle. Again, it might be hard to see, but that's okay. We can, where even is it? We can drag it. Did I not just touch it? Bro. Oh my days. Alright, it's fine. Now we have it here. We're going to duplicate this twice. Name them 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to put the amount of circles to the number in the name. And now we have the 3 different lives. Back in the code, we're going to say when green flag clicked, go to, and as you can see, we're going to drag the lives to the corner here, and we're going to say go to 172 x 172 y 145. Now that we have it in its placement, we're going to make it actually work. So let's make a new variable called lives. Click OK and set lives to 3. If you want to have more than 3 lives, you're going to need to make 5 costumes instead of 3 and put 5 circles instead of 3 as well. Then under the go to, we're going to say forever switch costume to lives. Then in the ball sprite, we're going to say if touching death barrier, change lives, not set, by -1. And let's test it out. As you can see, whenever we lose a life, we lose a life on the counter here. But we can have less than 0 lives. Let's go ahead and fix that right now. You may have noticed the ball doesn't look like a circle at all when you're in this mode. I know a simple trick to fix this. We're going to go into the ball sprite, click this fill button, and click this red line. Then drag out an invisible square around the circle. Then, now we can see the circle doesn't look like a square anymore. And it actually...
I don't even know if that's a square, bro.
Well, look, if I delete it, right? You can see that
it's not like a square, Rowan. That's like a pentahexagon.
Yeah, it looks really weird when you don't have it. But when you do have it... Okay.
It looks like a beanbag.
Yeah, it just looks really weird. When you do have it, it looks normal again. I'm not sure why it does this, but I learned this trick from a YouTube video I saw a while ago. Oh, wait. Yeah. Now, we're going to make it so that there can be a death screen. So we can't play even when we have 0 lives. Let's fill it in to be black. You can make it whatever color you want, but we're just going to make it black. Then
make sure it's the same color as the death barrier. That way, the ball can never touch it and the bricks can never touch it, making the game unplayable.
Then we're going to write some text. Let's say game over. We're going to make the text red. It says game over. But how are we going to make it so that they can play again? That's right. We're going to give them instructions on what to do. So we're going to say, click green flag to restart.
Scratch does this weird glitch where it automatically makes the fill color the same as the background. So you can just change it to whatever color you want.
We're just going to make it white.
Now, do the same hack as you did with the
barriers.
I don't know.
The borders.
The borders by holding shift and moving the game over text up.
If you want, you can make a small graphic. So we're just going to make a sad face.
Now that we have our death screen, we're gonna go into that sprite and we're gonna name it death screen.
We're going to drag a when green flag clicked, go to 0, 0, and hide. Then forever, if lives is less than 1, so that means whenever the lives is equal to 0 or less than 1, then we're going to show. But we have to make it go to the front layer or else we'll see everything on the screen. We can also make this lives variable not show on the screen. And now when we click play, let's test it out. Now we can see that whenever we hit 0 lives, the game over screen pops up. But the game is still running. So let's make the game completely stop running whenever it does. So under everything, we're going to say stop all. This will make the whole game stop as if we click the stop sign. Alright, now time for the final part. We're going to make a start screen. So yeah.
This is completely optional and this is just a cosmetic, but we really think that start screens are cool and they can help sharpen your coding skills.
So if you want, you can stop here. Make sure to show us your project when you're done. In the background, we're going to set this to 0, 0, 0, 0, and also for the button. Make sure. Oh wait, no. Here's what it looks like. That's pretty good looking. But here's a cool trick to make the button look more lively when you hover over it. Oh wait, the code for the start screen. We're going to make a broadcast message and call it game start. Now in the paddle sprite, we're going to replace the green flag clicked with game start. Then we're going to replace the green flag clicked here with game start. Do you see the trend here? Replace for anything that's not go to and setting things up, you can replace it with when green flag clicked. What game start. So let's replace this with game start. Same thing with, oh wait, no. This can stay. But we're going to say when game start, go to front layer. Also replace this, move this to game start like this. The only thing that should, the only things that should have the game when green flag clicked is the left border, the right border, the depth barrier, the start background, and the start button. Also the lives and the death screen, which is like everything, but whatever. Anyways, now onto the start button. In the start button, we're going to say, I'm going to show you this cool trick to make a smooth animation when your mouse hovers over the start button. Back to the paddle and drag this into the start button. Delete all of the inputs and then drag a if else. And then we're going to say if touching mouse pointer. Then set size in both of them. This one will say set size to 120, and then this one will also say, this one will say 100. Then in both of the blank inputs, we're just going to say size. And now we can click the start button. As you can see, it's a smooth animation when our mouse hovers over the start button. Pretty cool. Let's make the start button actually work though. Then in the forever loop, we're also going to say if mouse down and touching mouse pointer, and in the operators, we're going to put this here. Now we're going to try. What just happened?
You have to make it show.
That's my bad.
Make sure to make it show in the beginning.
Then
now
we're also going to say go to front layer. We're also going to say wait 0 seconds and go to front layer. This is so that it can go in front of the start background. We're going to say go to front layer in the start background and go to front layer, wait 0 seconds, then go to front layer in the start button. This is so that the start button can show in front of the background. And finally, we're going to say in the start background, when I receive game start, hide. The game should be all done. Oh wait, no. Now for the very last thing, you can add sound effects. So we're going to add a sound effect for when the ball hits the paddle. First, we're just going to use the pop sound effect. So we're going to say when game start forever.
Might be wondering why we didn't put the play pop sound in the same if statement as it says point direction. This is because it will pause the game and play that sound and then continue the game. But if you run both at the same time, it will not have this problem. So let's test it out.
Now, finally, after all this trial and error, we can have our finished game. It works great.
And voila! You have officially made your first brick and ball game, unless you've made them before. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this tutorial. If you think that the game is good, but you could add more things, add cosmetic. Thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys definitely
use some scratch abilities.
Bro,
You're calling it start, not setup.
Alright guys, so don't be stupid like us. Make sure that the numbers are actually the same thing as the go-to up here, because we were looking at our prototype project, so it kind of got screwed up. But here's the actual numbers. You have to put the same numbers.
Screw is a no word, Rowan. We center it.
Yeah. Now that we
make sure to.
Oh my days. Make sure to center.
Make sure to center it. It's not centered, Rowan. Center
it is centered.
That's what you want to bet. See?
It is centered. It was centered, bro.